Joe Rogan, Kid Rock get into a conversation about Jesus that I was not expecting. Let's jump into this clip. This is from the 3-hour and 19-minute mark.
Literally like going and finding cave people that are Stone Age still.
Now that
studying them.
See, I'd rather go back in time and talk to those than talk to the people in front of us.
The people in front of us are probably not going to be people
poignant
anymore.
questions.
The people in front of us are probably going to be integrated with technology, like permanently integrated. That new guy that Elon Musk put the Neuralink in his head, he apparently can use his cursor. He can actually like search the internet and do a bunch of things just using his brain now. So it's working.
Did that happened? That they executed that fully?
I guess so. That's nuts. We got to look that up afterwards.
Crazy.
Dude, like me and George Washington would be boys. Like, would he be like golfing like me and Trump, like hanging out? Like, I have a lot of questions.
If you go to one place, where would you go? If you had one shot, you can go back in time once and survive and come back to the future.
Such a good question.
Jesus.
Jesus. What if there was nobody there?
Even better. I get all myself, just me and Jesus.
No, I mean, what if Jesus wasn't there? What if you go back and you're like, I just want to go see Jesus? And you're like, okay. What time?
He'd be there. He'd probably like a DJ back then, cutting it up.
What?
Hold on. What? They got to be high. That's too much Bud Light.
They're 3 hours and 21 minutes into a
He'll
podcast.
be cutting it up. He'll be a DJ.
I don't even get like the reference.
Oh my gosh.
Do you think there's a real Jesus? Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Absolutely. 1000%.
There we go.
Shout out to Kid Rock.
Kid Rock knows his history. That's what's up.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. 1000%.
Joe Rogan out here with all these experts, still guessing.
Still questioning if Jesus was a real person. My gosh.
What makes you convinced?
My faith.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that's a good answer.
Whoa, hold on. You got to pull that back. That was the longest. That was the longest. Are you playing this in real time? Play this in real time. I want to hear that awkward silence. How long was that silence?
My faith.
I mean, that's a good answer.
Bro, that was 6 seconds of complete silence between my faith and that was a good answer.
That was like one of those like
Oh my gosh.
hostage negotiator techniques where you just like say your answer and say sales, you just stare them down.
Just stare him down.
Like wait for their answer. My faith.
That was amazing.
The cutting back.
Yeah, shout out to Jamie on that one. You the real MVP for that.
I got to imagine that at a certain point in time in history, they probably didn't tell the truth about a lot of things. And we take those things, tell them through oral traditions, have them written down.
Well, there's a difference between lies and between the truth getting, manipulated and twisted a little bit. Mm-hmm. The underlying usually is still there.
So you think the real truth was that he actually was the Son of God?
Yes.
It'd be amazing if it was true.
It is amazing.
I believe you. I believe that you believe that.
Would you like to be introduced to Jesus?
Come on, Kid Rock.
Listen,
let's go. Let's go. We gonna take him through the Lord's Prayer.
This is crazy. Do you think Kid Rock watches the channel? He's like, I need to represent for Ruslan.
I doubt
got
it.
this whole playlist. And he's like, I need to.
doubt it. That would be.
This is the
crazy.
only Christian that's trying to close Joe Rogan.
Listen, I think the concept of Jesus is absolutely amazing. And if Jesus came here and wanted to visit me, I would be psyched.
Would you like to know Jesus?
In what way?
I can put my pastor on your show.
I'm good.
Boo, Joe. Boo.
That was a little more confirmation than we've ever needed.
Yeah. Dang it. That answers
A lot of things, huh?
questions. Dang it, Joe. Joe, you were so close. I wonder who his pastor is. We should see if we could do some research on that.
We'll have Kid Rock's pastor on our show.
I would love that. Kid Rock. Hey, Kid Rock. Mr. Rock. Mr. Rock. Tap in, bro. I'd love to have you and your pastor on. That'd be amazing.
Mr. Paula White.
very-
She's Trump's spiritual advisor, too.
Oh, that's
You should have her on the show.
Hold on,
Pastor
hold on.
Paula White.
No. I hope that is not his pastor. Please, no. Plot twist. Listen,
Do you know who that is?
I do know who that is.
That's her?
Oh, there you go. She's pretty deep in some of the prosperity stuff, from my understanding. This is the plot twist. First of all, the fact that Kid Rock brought this up is definitely a plot twist. The fact that then he brings this up and says this is his pastor, this took a different turn.
Yeah, maybe that was God's provision.
Maybe that was God's provision to be like,
to like
let's
on Joe
not-
Rogan be like, not turn this down. He hardened his heart for a moment. Maybe God hardened Joe Rogan's heart the same way he did Pharaoh, so that he could later open up something like next time Ruslan's there, I can introduce you to Jesus, and then it's like Pastor Jeff Morris.
All right, Javier goes, play 5 more seconds. It gets worse. Oh no!
This is bad.
No!
This is bad.
I'm very interested in the idea of Jesus being a real person.
Amen.
But I look at it the same way I look at everything else. Whereas, like,
Let's circle
what
back.
the words
Let's
are.
circle back. You told me that you believed in Bigfoot.
No, I was joking. I was joking around. But I wanted Bigfoot to be real for sure. Just like I want Jesus to be real.
He is?
Well, the thing Bigfoot used to be real. The thing that I found out when I really got fascinated by Bigfoot.
You know how you know Jesus is real right in this moment?
How?
Because the forgiveness that I am exercising by drinking this Bud Light right now.
Hey, you know what?
Hold on.
So if you,
That made no sense. Oh, no.
Kid Rock.
In a hillbilly way,
Kid
that's
Rock.
not the worst. That's
Kid-
not the worst way to
Kid Rock.
exemplify forgiveness.
No.
A very hillbilly way.
No. Kid Rock shot Bud Light cans with a machine gun.
Is that legal?
Maybe it wasn't a machine gun.
No, it was.
It was a machine gun.
It definitely was not illegal.
Because of Dylan Mulvaney, which, you know what? Listen, if I drank Bud Light and they did that, I would be offended too as a Bud Light fan. But to say that we know Jesus is real.
Hey, man.
To say we know Jesus is real because I am exhibiting forgiveness for Bud Light.
That might work on like Theo Vaughn. It's a little bit of like a hillbilly analogy. I like it.
Wow, that might be the most redneck thing I've ever heard anyone say. Wow.
Redneck youth pastor.
Oh my gosh.
It's Jesus?
that's Jesus. Jesus is everywhere. He's in this room. He's in the world. He's in the universe. By the aliens that you want so desperately to be real or have the concept of them being real, that's Jesus. That is Jesus.
Carla has a good point. Shout out to Carla in the chat. She says, I think Joe Rogan declined due to what he is witnessing Kid Rock doing in front of him. I don't want to be too harsh on Kid Rock. I love the fact that he brought up Jesus. I think that's cool. But, dear God, please send us a different messenger on the Rogan in the name of Jesus.
And this man said his beer is Jesus. He cracked it open and said, hear that? That's Jesus.
Oh, gosh.
I bet if it was Jordan Peterson saying, can I introduce you to my Orthodox Christian friend to tell you about Jesus? Joe Rogan would have so much respect for him that he'd be like, yeah. But when it's Kid Rock, it's like, oh, it's the homie now.
Maybe.
The homie's just kind of wilding out.
It would be great to have Jonathan Peugeot on.
As a Christian, I have to believe in forgiveness.
Beautiful. Cheers. Well said.
I never thought I'd have to explain Jesus through drinking a Bud Light, but
You don't.
Yo! Hey, Kid Rock, brother, tap in, man. We gotta talk, bro.
Hey, this man got his own
We gotta talk.
own Living Waters magazine.
We gotta talk,
This
man.
man got the
His man, I love it. His man, he might as well be Calvinist with the way he's consuming the brew. Except they have their own craft beer.
yeah.
every time you look at a flower that blooms or you look at one of your children, you're like, that's Jesus. That is Jesus. That is God.
It's got worse and worse as it
Yeah,
goes
it's
on.
just getting worse. I think if I had to steal man what he was attempting to say is that you see the beauty. When you see beauty and you see goodness, that is actually proof that God is real.
Yeah.
That when you see beauty and goodness in the world, when you see your kids, when you see these things, if I had to steal man, and by the way, we'll look at a video later that kind of articulates that.
And if I had to straw man what he was saying,
It's like pantheism.
yeah, it's pantheism. This type of explanation of Jesus to non-Christians is what opens them up to this idea that like, oh, maybe God just communicated to all different cultures their own version that they knew the culture would accept. But so Islam is the way to God and Christianity is the way to God and Buddhism is the way to God. And it's all the same thing. All roads lead to heaven. Like this communication of Christianity doesn't place the dire situation that is accepting the gospel. It makes it be like, oh, okay.
Yes.
My kids are God.
I just saw a shooting star.
Yeah.
How cool is that? That's God going, bang, nailed it.
Joe Rogan's like, it's not God. That's like we programmed that.
Yo, this reminds me of Talladega Nights. Pray to be baby Jesus, right? And he's like, yeah, that's who he reminds me of right now. Is Will
Sort
Ferrell
of.
in
That's
Talladega
every
Nights.
30 seconds. It happens.
I haven't seen one all.
He said that's every 30 seconds that happens.
But that's how confirmation bias happens. That's what makes people believe certain things, like that Jesus sent that stars on a. Maybe you timed it right.
That's
It
Jesus.
could be coincidental.
That's Jesus.
He's saying that's Jesus, and Joe Rogan's like, no, that's been going every 30 seconds, and that's been programmed. And he's like, that's me.
Yeah.
Bummer.
All right.
This is like negative. This is like 3 steps forward, 2 steps backwards.
All right. Well, props to Kid Rock for bringing up Jesus on the podcast and saying that it's about forgiveness. I guess, if he feels that the reason he forgave Bud Light was because of an overflow of his relationship with understanding forgiveness through the lens of Jesus. I can't say that he doesn't feel that way, but that went downhill rather quickly. Mm-hmm. But I'm glad he did. And I don't know enough about Paula White to give any sort of like critique. I know she's really into the charismatic Christian prosperity gospel circles, but it's fascinating. We see, according to the Bible, that prayer is extremely important in terms of us being transformed from the inside out when we get aligned with God's will. For the Christians watching this channel, I want you guys to implement these spiritual disciplines in your day-to-day life. And the only way I've been able to do this consistently is through writing down my prayers in a prayer journal that does a few things. One, it allows me to reflect and come to God humbly and ask him to move on my behalf. And two, it allows me to document my prayers, which ultimately help me remember the very things that I was praying for and see the hand of God tangibly in my life when he answers them. So I would urge you, consider writing down your prayers. It could be in a blank notebook. It could even be on your phone. Or you could check out the one I personally designed and used for my own quiet time and spiritual discipline that I think will be a huge blessing. It's the exact structure and system that I've used for years to pray and be more consistent in my spiritual disciplines. You can pick yours up today by clicking the link in the pinned comment below. All right, I'll see you over there. Peace.